Field Guide by Catherine Rodriguez. Chapter 3: Imagining the Possibilities. Within this chapter, I realized that the authors wanted to create steps and learning functions to help educators create amazing lesson plans. Within the lesson plans, the authors want the educators to make it enjoyable and also a new learning experience for each of their students. The first step to creating an enjoyable lesson is to analyze, which is to view lessons from different perspectives. As an educator, one must create a lesson that will connect to all the perspectives of every student, since every student does learn in different forms and ways. This is why step 2, evaluate, decide which activities would connect with students the most, creates with analyzing. Once the teacher figures out the other perspectives of his or her students, they begin to evaluate what is the best activity to create with that level of knowledge that the grade or class contains. For step 3, create, generate a unique lesson or assignment forcing students to create outside the box, comes from the connection within the students. After the teacher analyzes, then he evaluates. He or she creates the lesson entirely and then presents it to the class, hoping that every student gains as much knowledge as possible. However, these 3 steps also include 6 essential learning functions. Number 1, research. Find activities and projects that cause students to expand their knowledge and look for new information. For example, an activity that a teacher would evaluate to connect with his or her students could be a YouTube video, an article, a photo. Depending on the age, they could use the internet as a way for the students to be able to connect with them when they go home to look back on what they learned from. Number 2, make ideas visible, express ideas creatively. Encourage students to complete homework in new ways and forms. This comes in from the create aspect. As an educator, one must create a new learning form that helps students remember when they take the test and also complete homework. This is by simply, giving the students a new idea. They will be able to use it and feel comfortable with the idea of trying new ways and forms to complete the task that you give them. Number 3, collaboration. Have students work together by having class discussions or group projects. Many educators have proven this as a great skill. Having students discuss and work together help them create new friendships, a safer environment, and challenge their social skills. Overall, this creates a connection between the students and the teacher because they all depend on each other and they all realize that they must respect one another within the class. Number 4, project management. This could occur after assigning a project if you were to create checkpoints to encourage students to stay on task and help them fix any mistakes found. Many educators just assign a project and just wait till the day it's due. Well, by having check marks, the students are able to hear encouragement and also find out what they did wrong so that they can fix it to earn the A+ that they want to earn. Number 5, reflection. After critiquing projects, allow students to discuss mistakes and repair them. After a class strictly on project management, an educator could have the students, as this goes back to this first step, analyze. They reflect and analyze what their project is at that moment and what they can do to make it even better. They will also be able to figure out what's the next step overall. Number 6, supported study or enrichment using open educational resources. Give students information about where to find outside resources and how to use them. Books are not the only educational resource out there. Being an educator, we forget what else is out there that could truly help a student move forward and gain even more knowledge. So as educators, we must create a rubric and also a few links that will help students push outside the box and, as chapter 3, imagine the new possibilities. Chapter 4, strategies for discovery. I found this chapter very unique because it focused on projects of how a project is designed, its features, and the pitfall pickups. For design, the chapter suggested sketch multiple project ideas and join the strong patterns together to create the final project. I thought this was an amazing skill that a lot of educators forget to pass on to their students. Many students do brainstorming for essays, but usually forget to do them for projects. So by simply reminding them to sketch out a few ideas, a few perspectives, overall anything, the students could get on board and start their project as soon as possible. Features. By adding new features such as technology, one is testing his or her critical thinking skills. In this chapter, I realized critical thinking skills was very focused on. It even had its own page about how to test it. We always think to teach students the next math lesson, the next history lesson. However, critical thinking is an everyday life growing task. So, by introducing these new features into the projects, it keeps their mind flowing and growing. Pitfall pickups. I love this phrase that the authors gave, and right away, every pitfall in projects, they created an advice paragraph on how to fix it. And I enjoyed this pitfall pickup area because I myself saw a couple mistakes I made in the past on projects that I had no idea how to fix or how to overcome them. After hearing the teacher's critique, I still would not be able to fix them for further projects. So by seeing this, a teacher would be able to let the student know how to fix it so that next time it would not happen again. Chapter 5, making assessment meaningful. Just from the title, I thought it was phenomenal. Every assignment usually just says, here's the prompt, here's your grading rubric, and go 100%. A lot of students end up thinking it's no big deal. end up forgetting a little piece here and there, and then it ends up being a C+ project or assignment. So by simply making an objective for the students, will completely gain their attention and their response through the project. So in this chapter, I believe it truly connects with educators because it reminds them to constantly think of their students when creating an assignment. For example, this chapter gives educated rubrics, graphs, as you can see to your left, and lesson planning techniques. All of these skills taught in this chapter will create a connection between teacher and student. Not only will this connection benefit for the teacher, but it will also help the student's knowledge grow. As you can see in the graph to your left, it's a constant circle. There is no stop. So by having an objective for the students and then having evidence and activities, there is constant learning and growth occurring in this graph. And then I did not include the rubrics. However, they did say how to grade in a more positive way. Instead of saying you forgot to add an apostrophe here, you could grade more in the sense of here's a half a point because you still spelled correctly, but next time don't forget the apostrophe. I thought it was amazing. And I truly hope that when I teach math, I be able to, I already decided that whenever I assign an assignment, I won't just look at the final answer. I will look at the meaning behind it, like the steps to get there, and then I would grade from there. Overall, this Your Field Guide to Real World Projects in Digital Age was an amazing book, amazing 3 chapters. And I hope all educators read it.